What's up guys, this is Seb, and today we're gonna bring you a guide for the bow in Monster Hunter Now. Having received the silver medal for slaying over 1000 large monsters with the bow in the game, I feel like I'm at the point where I could give a pretty decent guide for new players who want to try out the bow. So let's begin. Let's start with a pros and cons list. For the pros, we have a comprehensive type coverage for the weapon. The bow is the only weapon where we have all the elements covered, with the pink Rathian bow being the only dragon type elemental weapon in the game right now. The second is staying mobile. There's a charge stepping mechanic which we'll go over later in the video, but it basically forces bow users to constantly dodge attacks while counter-attacking the monster itself. And number 3 is aerial coverage. Being a ranged weapon, bows have a significantly easier time hitting flying targets while staying at a safe distance. Now onto the cons. There's a thing called shot types. Basically, rapid, spread, piercing. We'll be going over this in the video a bit later. But basically, they'll constrain the weapon choices you have available if you're sticking to the monster's elemental weakness. The second con is there's more things you have to memorize. Each bow has its own shot type patterns, and basically you have to memorize at least the more commonly used bows, charge level 3 and charge level 4 patterns to use effectively. And lastly, you're at the mercy of the gyro sensors. Playing in full gyro mode is recommended as you're in complete control of where you're shooting and aiming. But if you're walking around, you're probably playing in semi mode, and you'll have to account for the gyro sway while walking. Falling in both the pros and cons section is our special, the Dragon Piercer. Once you've tested enough and know where to aim, you could be hitting for thousands of damage on crit. But on the flip side, you have to aim this manually, and there is a slight animation before shooting which could make you miss. Charge stepping is the most important mechanic a bow user must master in the game. Holding down onto the screen begins your charge, and your bow starts to glow red. The charge is visually represented by the circle shrinking inwards towards the reticle. Your default charge is level 1, with each subsequent circle raising the charge by 1 level, capping at 4. Moreover, dodging while charging is allowed, and the animation time allows your charge to increase by 1 level, but you have to immediately shoot right after the dodge animation is complete. The second shot, or the power shot, happens after you attack once, then you tap again to do half the damage of your initial charge. So if your first shot was 100 damage, the power shot would deal 50 damage. Perfect Evades gives you 2 charge levels, but you have to shoot right after the animation finishes. Perfect Evades while charging also gives you 2 additional charge levels, and it removes the penalty of having to fire right afterwards. Although you must ensure that your finger is on the screen and holding the screen when the animation finishes to continue the charge. A simple but never recommended bow combo is 3 taps, with the first and third shot as your charge level 1 and the second shot being a spread shot. This is almost never used in any situation. Now, what you should be doing is charging to level 3 and then dodging. This will basically build up 1 more charge in the bow, and you end up shooting a level 4 charge shot at the monster instead. Typically, depending on how aggressive the monster is and how much room you have to maneuver, dodging a level 2 and shooting a level 3 charge shot is quite common as well, and recommended if you're using a Black Diablo's bow, although we're not gonna go over that here today. As mentioned, each bow has 4 different charge levels, and the shot types could differ at each step. It could be from spread back to rapid, back to spread to rapid, or it could be piercing the entire way through. Aside from the damage increase per arrow for each charge, a higher charge level means that more arrows get shot when you attack. For example, rapid shot level 1 shoots 1 arrow, level 2 shoots 2, and so on. Spread shot starts at 3 arrows and increases to 5 at level 3 and 7 at level 4. Moving on to the shot types, we currently have 3 shots in the game right now: rapid, pierce, and spread. Rapid shots are pretty straightforward, and they're just normal bow shots without much other considerations. Piercing shots, as the name implies, pierces completely through your monster hunting, and the positioning matters a lot with this shot type. If possible, you should position yourself so your arrow travels through more of the monster's hitboxes. With our current lineup, the guideline is to shoot through its head and down its body. Spread bows are for those who like going up close and personal with the target they're hunting. You just use it as if it were a shotgun and you go on from there. Moreover, and this only applies to flying monsters, at longer ranges your damage will be more spread out, but you'll be hitting more critical spots, averaging out more consistent damage over time. Now this is for completely new players only. Start out building the Kuryaku bow for the raw damage and the affinity bonus, or you can take the Puki bow for the early poison damage. For the raw damage path, eventually you'll be graduating to using a Diablo's bow, and if possible, the Black Diablo's bow when it rolls around again. The Puki bow can carry you pretty far, but eventually you will need the elemental weapons to keep up with the higher star monsters. In terms of armor, the most important skill for bow users to use is the focus skill. At level 5, this will cut down your charge time by up to 30%. Having said that, early on, the Puki helmet and the leather chest would be ideal, with the other pieces as fillers depending on your playstyle. Eventually, the standard build would lead to a Puki helmet, the Puki chest piece, the Rathalos belt, and the Eurytodes boots, with the arms replaceable depending on your playstyle. But personally, I like the Kadachi gloves. I would recommend searching on the Discord for more theory crafting mechanics and build ideas as well. I'll have the Discord channel linked below in the description. Thank you for watching this simple tutorial, and I hope I was able to arm you with the basic knowledge you need to use a bow in Monster Hunter now. If you liked the video, consider liking the video and subscribing if you like content like this. Until next time.